Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining PHCA for today's webinar, Compass, How to Become a Community Partner and Complete a Long-Term Living Application. I'm Wendy Johnson, Executive Assistant for the Pennsylvania Healthcare Association. PHCA offers monthly webinars to members to receive updates from department staff on regulations, learn from industry experts on current trends and practices, and gain a better understanding of practical application tools to equip you so that you can continue to provide the highest level of quality care possible. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping items to cover. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available on the PHCA website later today. The webinar has been approved for 1.5 continuing education credits for nursing home, assisted living, and personal care administrators. Certificates will be emailed by close of business today, along with a link to a survey. Please complete this survey, and if you're participating in a group setting, have each participant also complete the survey. All attendees will be in listen-only mode. However, throughout the presentation, please feel free to submit questions by using your question pane on the right-hand side of your screen, and our presenters will address them at the end of the presentation. Now for today's webinar. This webinar will be presented by Nikki Blythe, Human Services Program Specialist Supervisor, and Derek Warke, also a Human Services Program Specialist, both with the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services. And joining them is a long-term care policy person, Marcia Miskisk. This webinar will cover how to become a community partner, how to use your community partner dashboard effectively, and will include a live demonstration on how to submit a long-term living application. Your learning objectives for today's webinar include learning how to become a Compass community partner, learning the features of your community partner dashboard, and lastly, learning how to submit a long-term living application. Nikki and Derek, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Like Wendy said, my name is Derek Warke, and I will be presenting the Compass presentation to you. After I'm done, Mrs. Blythe will then go ahead and go through the application process. All right, for a quick introduction, Compass stands for Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Access to Social Services and was created in 2001. At that time, Compass served as Pennsylvania's streamlined healthcare application for MA and CHIP. Since then, Compass has expanded to include a wide array of health and human service programs, which include healthcare, cash assistance, SNAP, LIHEAP, Child Care Works, school meals, long-term care, and certain home and community-based services. Approximately 600,000 applications are received through Compass each year. Compass is Pennsylvania's fast and easy way to apply for health and human service benefits online. With the click of a button, you can learn about benefits, see if you may qualify for benefits, apply for benefits and renew your benefits, and much, much more. What are the benefits to using Compass? It's available 24/7. It's private, secure, and confidential. It provides access to forms, links, and other publications. Application status can be viewed. Documents can be scanned or imported and submitted electronically. And applications can be stopped and saved up to 6 months. Community partners can apply for human service programs online anytime and anywhere. Here's a view of the Compass homepage. Compass displays links for individuals on the main homepage and has a separate page for community partners. As you'll see on the screen, the green box that says Get Started Now, underneath you'll see Do I Qualify? That's a screening tool for an individual to quickly see if they may qualify for benefits. Underneath that, Apply for Health Care Only. This provides a quick screening tool that determines if it's more efficient for the individual to apply through Compass or through the Federal Health Insurance Marketplace. After the quick screening tool, Compass continues into the application process if the individual may be eligible. Underneath that, Apply for Any Benefits. This allows the individual to apply for any of the programs Compass offers. And then not shown on the screen is Use the LIHEAP Compass registration number. This is a seasonal program, and therefore that's why you don't see it, because it's seasonal as well. This allows individuals who have received LIHEAP in the past and have received the registration number for the new season to quickly apply for LIHEAP. The red box, Returning Users. My Compass account. This is where an individual can access their case information, application, renewal, and are provided with additional features. Renew your benefits. Individual can complete their benefit renewal from this link. Next link down, finish your application/renewal. Individual can finish an application that was started on their behalf by a community partner. And the last one, check application status. The individual can view the status of an application that was submitted on their behalf by a community partner. It is important to note that everything you see here in the individual view can be done through an individual's My Compass account. My Compass account serves as a one-stop shop for all of the individual's online application and case information. The community partner view serves as a single access point for all of the above except for the My Compass account. Why should you become a community partner? The benefits to becoming a community partner. The Community Partner Dashboard, or CPD, allows you to save, submit, and track Compass applications for your organization. You will be notified by headquarters of any issues Compass may be experiencing or any system changes. Third, you are able to scan documents or attach images to an application or case record from the Community Partner Dashboard. Fourth, you can look up the renewal due date for an active recipient, and much, much more. So now you're wondering, how do you become a community partner? To access the Community Partner View, also known as the Community Partner Dashboard, the community partner must first register. Registration is done online and is a two-step process. First, register the organization. Second, register users beginning with a delegated administrator, also known as a DA. All users will receive their Keystone ID, user ID, or also known as user ID, by email after the registration request has been approved. Delegated administrators are approved by the state, and all other users are approved by the delegated administrators under that organization and location. To begin the registration process, click the green Start Online Self-Registration link that you see in the PowerPoint slide. There is also an online self-registration guide that contains registration information as well as other info on managing organizations and users. This is the first place to look when you have registration and organization and user management. To log in as a community partner, click on the Community Partner Login /registration link on the Compass homepage. Then you can either sign in if you are already register your organization as a community partner, or register as a community partner user. Once the community partner individual has a user ID, also known as a B-user ID, they can access their organization's community partner dashboard by clicking the community partner login/registration link on the Compass homepage, and then logging in. Note, the password is chosen during self-registration. To reset the password, click on the Forgot/Change Password link. To look up the user ID, click the Forgot User ID link. What are the features of the Community Partner Dashboard? This is the homepage of a Community Partner Dashboard, or CPD. It is set up for a user to view their specific application activities as well as activities of the organization as a whole. User specific, in the right-hand corner, where you see the first yellow star, again up in the right-hand corner, you'll see Welcome Derek. Organization as a whole, right underneath that, you will see AAA1, in parentheses, Harrisburg, 4211 Union Deposit Road, which again is the organization as a whole. The CPD homepage will display up to 20 most recently saved and submitted applications. To retrieve information on an older application, the CP must go to the search function, which you'll see in the left-hand navigation panel. Applications are stored in the CPD or Community Partner Dashboard for up to 180 days. This includes both saved and submitted applications. Community Partner Dashboard features include messages from headquarters. Unfortunately, we don't have one posted right now. Screening, applying, and renewing in one place. Accessing saved and submitted applications for up to 180 days. Application status information. Submitting of electronic documents. Accessing forms, links, and other publications. Viewing detailed reports of applications. Viewing the list of renewal dates for individuals, and submitting a ticket to have a new board added to an active case. As stated in the last slide, we communicate any updates and issues with Compass here. Be sure to always read new messages where the yellow arrow is pointing, which is the messages that we post. The Quick Reports tab displays statistics to the community partner organization/user. The Quick Reports tab only shows general numbers from the previous month. To obtain more comprehensive reports, use the search page. The Information tab gives community partners, quick access to necessary information on benefit programs, forms, and policy handbooks. Newly added on the Community Partner Dashboard in November of 2016, CPs are now able to look up an individual's renewal date by entering the individual's SSN or MCI number, Medicaid ID, or EBT card number, along with the individual's county and case record number. For the county field, the user will enter the numeric value for the specific county the case record belongs to. For example, if the individual's case record number is 02/947-7308, the community partner will enter 02 in the county field and 947-7308 in the case record field. The number 02 is the numeric value for Allegheny County. Applications display on the Community Partner Dashboard and are tracked as applications submitted this month. Note, to view older applications, go to the search page. To search for a specific application, the user must click on the search button shown in the screenshot. To search for an application, the user must enter any identifying criteria related to a specific application. For example, if I would like to see all of the applications that have been submitted to the Dolphin CAO, I would select Dolphin under the county dropdown. Since I chose Dolphin when searching, the results that came back were all applications saved and submitted for individuals residing in Dolphin. I've submitted an application. How do I submit documents to the County Assistance Office? How do I check the status of the application? There are 5 options available for submitted applications in the My Compass account, as well as in the Community Partner Dashboard. You can check the status of and see what pending verification is requested. View the summary PDF, which displays all the information entered on the application. View just the signature page of the application, and attach or scan pending verification documents. Scanning/attaching a file. This feature in Compass provides individuals and community partners with the ability to scan or attach a file and submit verification documents electronically for the following DHS-administered benefits: healthcare, which includes medical assistance, family planning services, SNAP, LIHEAP, cash assistance, long-term care, and OLTL, home and community-based services. Acceptable file types for scanning and attaching include JPEG, BMP, single-page TIFF, and single-page PDF formats only, and must not exceed 10 megabytes in size. This is what the scan page for the e-form looks like, as well as the steps involved in submitting documents electronically. For additional steps in scanning, please see the Compass Quick Reference Guides under the Need Help Using Compass link under the Helpful Links on Compass homepage. This is what the Attach a File page for the e-form looks like, as well as the steps involved in submitting documents electronically. For additional steps on attaching, please see the Compass Quick Reference Guides under the Need Help Using Compass link under the Helpful Links on Compass homepage. Check application status can be accessed in the My Compass account and the Community Partner Dashboard, and displays the benefits applied for, household members involved, and the general status of the application. View My Verification and View My eForm will bring up the substituted applications PDF summaries, or excuse me, the submitted applications PDF summaries. The Scan Documents and Attach a File page can also be accessed from the Check Application Status page. Note, there are 4 status types when an application is sent to the County Assistance Office: not available, in process, approved, denied. Where can I find more information on how to use Compass? The Compass tutorials and quick reference guides are located under the Helpful Links section of the Compass homepage. Here are both Mrs. Blythe's email address and my email address. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. And that is it from the presentation standpoint of the PowerPoint. Now Mrs. Blythe will take over the presentation process.
As Derek said, that concludes the overview of Compass Community Partner View. So now we're going to move on to actually submitting a long-term care application, which I think is what everyone kind of wanted to see with this presentation. So we'll go over questions at the end, but please feel free to type them in the chat feature at any time, and we'll be sure to address them after. Okay, so this is the Compass homepage. This is our test site. So this is all fictional data that we're going to be doing here. But like Derek said, you would go down to the Community Partners section here and click the Community Partner Login Registration link. A lot of community partners save this Community Partner landing page as one of their favorites, so they just go directly to this login page instead of going to the home page first. And here's where you'd enter your user ID and password. And like Derek said before, it's a B- account. Click Sign In. You're always going to get this general thank you for using Compass page, and it will give you, if there's any issues, like if you have, if you need to download some software, you'll receive that information on this page. Some people don't have like Adobe set up, and that's required for Compass. This is now the home page of your community partner dashboard. Up top, like Derek went over, you see the tabs to all that information that you have access to. This particular user is a delegated administrator, so they'll see this administration tab, which I'm just going to click on real quick here. And this just kind of shows you how a delegated administrator can manage their users and their organization information from here. And if I had other users registered under here, they would display on this page of this section. So we'll go back to the Home tab. And here we'll click New Application. And in Compass, you're always going to get these introductory screens. You'll start off with the general information, which just gives a list of all benefits that can be applied for through Compass. Click Next. And the What to Expect page gives you information on privacy and confidentiality, and what to expect when you fill out the application, and just general information on who needs to sign the application and what you'll submit and with the application, such as verification documents and any other information you might need to complete the application as well. So you'll scroll down again and click Next. And our terms page just gives some general terms on words that we use within the application. If you're not familiar with Compass, like for instance, e-form number, or e-form is the same as application. U refers to the person completing the application or, the applicant. It really all depends on the context. And here you'll click Next. And on this setup page, right now it's always defaulted to I'm a community-based organization. But if you have a provider number, if you're enrolled with the department as a provider, you should select the first option and enter your provider information below. And then that way, if you're enrolled with the department as a provider, you'll get the eligibility notices that you're enrolled to receive. But for this application, we're going to go back to just the community-based organization one. And that section defaults to the organization name as the name that you register your organization under. And for type of community-based organization, you can really just put, whatever you actually are. So I'm going to put nursing facility. Click Next. This is our returning users page. This is an optional page, but would allow you, if you had the applicant's recipient information, like if they were a current recipient, let's say on medical assistance, if you had their information, you could enter it here, and you would be able to see a pre-filled application with their data. So it's just a quicker way. If you have their information, if you enter it here, you'll see, you know, like a pre-filled application, and you won't have to enter quite as much information in the application flow. So to skip this page, you just leave everything blank and click Next. This is our password page. Every application requires a password. This is so if you share the application with the applicant, they can log in and view that application later. So we'll type in a password here. And when they both match, you'll get that green check box here, green check mark in the box. And because you're in the community partner view, you'll get to bypass these hint questions. Normally those are required for anyone, like if you're just an individual submitting an application, you're required to have these answered, but for a community partner, you're not. So we'll skip those and click Next. And this is just some information we have at the start, just some family safety information about domestic violence. Click Next. So this is actually in the beginning of the application now. So before we even ask for your benefit that you're applying for, we want to get your household information first. And so the typical nursing home application, I think we're just going to use one person here. And you'll notice that all the required fields have required next to them in parentheses. And if you don't answer a required question, you'll be, you know, the system will let you know it. So down below, you'll enter the address. And you're also required to enter the county. And this question below, the mailing address question, we always default that to no because we assume the mailing address will match the residential address. But if you need to put in another mailing address, you would just mark yes, and it would open up to, you know, a whole other address section for mailing address. But for this purpose, we're just going to leave it as no. Click Next. And this box that pops up, this is where we do a GIS validation to make sure the address that you entered is actually correct. And here, what you can do is, if this is the correct address, you would select this and click OK. If it's not correct, you would just click Cancel. After the address is validated, you just go back and click Next. So now you're on the benefit selection page, and this is where you're going to choose your long-term living services, nursing home, and related facilities. As you can see, the home and community-based services are above that. And this pop-up here is just to let you know that if the applicant's currently receiving medical assistance, this application is not required to be submitted because the County Assistance Office already has their information. So it just lets you know that you don't need to submit this and you should just contact the County Assistance Office. So here you've selected nursing home and related facilities, and now you need to individually select the person for which you're applying. So in this case, it's just Anita. But you select her, and then you click Next. So now we're on the individual details screen, and I just want to note that on this side panel here, you can see all the sections you're going to be getting through with Compass. It tells you where you're at each time. And up here too, if you had other people in the household, it would tell you which person you're on and what questions, who the questions apply to, basically. And your e-form number will always be displayed up top, so you know what it is. And you can print, cancel, or save and finish later at any time once you're actually in the application. And community partners always have the option to return to their Compass home dashboard. So on this individual details page, you'll see some questions that are optional because there's no required next to them. So fill it out as best you can. The more information we have, the better it is, but it's really up to you what you fill out. Like I said before, the required ones, if you don't answer them, you'll be taken back to them. So this section just kind of asks general information about the individual household itself. You're always going to be asked school district information and city, township, borough information, and that's more to so we know where this application should go for routing purposes. And if you don't know, just guess as best you can. So now this section is your, as you can see, Anita displays above. So now you're answering questions that are specific to Anita. And usually the question will actually have the person's name in it. So then, that's just to decrease any confusion about who you're answering the question for. So this is Anita's kind of individual like citizenship status, marital status, things like that. And if you're like a power of attorney of a person, you would mark yes here, and then you'd be answering power of attorney information, or you'd be entering power of attorney information. And see, anything you answer as a yes, you're going to get additional sections of other questions above. As you can see here, the Social Security number is optional, but to e-sign the application, you have to enter a Social Security number. So I would just make sure if you have it to enter it. It's just faster for processing. The voter registration question, that's always going to be asked for the head of household who's 18 or older. And it's an optional question. You don't have to answer it, but we encourage community partners to really, try to get people registered and answer this question truthfully. Like I said before, up above each section that you answered, like if you answered affirmative, we said Anita was a veteran, so now there are some additional questions on her veteran status. And here's the additional contact information. So if you select someone outside the household, again, it's going to expand into a section that asks for the name for the person who's out of the household, since we don't already have that information. And like I said, so right now I'm just answering the required questions for the most part, but really if you have this information, you should answer it as best as you can so the County Assistance Office has the information available to process as quickly as they can. This is the income section. This is where you would enter any sort of income that the applicant has. And in this case, we're going to say that she doesn't have employment, but that she has income from other income sources. And we have those displayed below. Those can be anything like RSCI, a pension, veterans benefits, anything that's basically income from anything other than a job. Click Next. So here you'll click the source of income and how often they receive the income and the gross amount and the date of last receipt of income. And then it just asks other information with if the money goes to a power of attorney or the nursing facility, things like that that are applicable to a nursing home application. And this is the expenses page. It just wants to know if anyone's paying any shelter utility expenses. And I just want to note that here, and throughout Compass, there are help features. So if you're ever confused about a question or you want more information about a question, you would click the help feature and we would kind of expand on what we're really asking for there. And then if you want to get rid of it, you can always exit out like that. Here we're going to click Yes, and again it expands. Click Next. And so these are all the shelter and utility expense questions. I'm going to leave some of these blank, some of the required questions blank, so you can see what happens at the end of the application. You'll see we'll be taken back to these to answer. So. This is the insurance section, so we need to know if the individual is receiving any other type of medical insurance. This is because Medicaid is the payer of last resort. So when you click yes to this, you're going to expand on the insurance section here. And it's going to ask some pretty specific questions like policy information. So we're going to say Anita has Medicare. And so up here, so we said Medicare A, but now we want to add Medicare B. So whenever you need to add another, like insurance policy, another income source, anything like that, there's always going to be a button at the bottom that says add another, and in this case, insurance policy. And then you're just completing the same type of information. But you're making sure that on the application you're listing all of her insurance sources. And the policy number and group number and everything, that is optional to enter, but that is definitely very helpful for our purposes. So now we're on the resources section. This is very important for nursing home applications. So here, if you're entering anything with a yes, again, you're going to get extra sections asking for more information on, you know, for instance, what kind of checking account, savings account, things like that. Like you see here, these are all required, definitely important for nursing home applications. So like I said, so this opens up again into more resource questions, just asking some specific information. And you're always going to be marking who owns the resource. So if it's Anita and someone else, we need to know that. If it's just Anita, you would only mark her. We're always going to ask, you know, account information and the estimated value. Now you're on the last section with the property information from what you answered from the resources before. The long-term living applications definitely ask the most comprehensive questions on resource information. Okay, so like you can see after the resources section, it says you're almost finished, you're at the end. This is where we get to the summary information. On this page, you can see if there's a required question that you missed, you're going to be asked to answer it. And so when you click Next, this is going to take you back to any required question that you missed. It's what we call a completion checker. And those questions will be highlighted in a kind of pinkish reddish color for you, so you know exactly where they are. You just answer them. And when you click Next, it should take you back to the summary. And here you are. So now your application is complete for the question section. And here's where you click Next again. And so this pop-up is to let you know that based on what you're applying for, we feel that you might want to look at other benefits. And so you click OK, and the other benefits that we think you should look into are home and community-based services and SSI. And, you know, to learn more, you'd click on these links, and it would just take you kind of to, well, the SSI would be an outside link. So that's just to give you some more, you know, resources that are out there. Here you click Next to continue with your application. And this is the summary page that it just gives you basically a rundown of everything that you just answered on the application in this nice little one-page format for you. So you would kind of just scroll through this, make sure everything looks okay. If you see something that's completely incorrect, you know, like, oh, you mistyped your address here, all you do is go back, you'd click on this button, change this information, and it would take you back to that section to update information. You can also do that at any time throughout the application if you feel like you need to answer a question differently or you missed something. You can always just click on the section and it will take you back to those questions. So you'll scroll down, everything looks good. You're going to click Next again. Now this page is just our routing and provider information page. It gives you information on the benefit you applied for and where the application looks like it's routing. Like if you were to click on that link, it takes you, I think, to a map to your county assistance office. It's being kind of slow. So like I said, we're in the test environment, so it might, it should work better for you than it is for us right now. But that's what it should do. And then, like I said, throughout you can always print, but I kind of encourage you to print after you actually submit the application because then you have everything together. So here, just click Next. And this is just where you're given AAA information and that contact information as well. And it goes over kind of the MA51 form and the clinical assessment form, or the clinical assessment that needs done. And here you'll click Next again. And this additional information page is just kind of a wrap-up to the application. And this is where we ask language, if the person needs notices in a different language or to speak with the person, we need an interpreter. This is where you would enter this information. And they're both required questions, so you can't pass off if you don't answer them. And then this section is optional, but this is, so if you're submitting the application on behalf of the person and you want your contact information on the application so somebody knows who to reach out to, this is where you would put it. And I'm not sure, if you use this as much, but this would be helpful if you actually wanted to be the contact for the application. And if you have anything else that you want the County Assistance Office to know that you weren't able to put on the application, you would mark yes to this "Do you have any additional comments" section. And this is really only for information that we don't already know from the application. So if you saw something, or rather if you didn't see something on there that you thought the County Assistance Office should know for eligibility purposes, or, like the person hasn't moved into the facility yet, or they're working on a guardianship or something like that, this is where you would put that type of information. Then you click Next. And so this is where, these are kind of the final screens with submission of the application. This is where you're going to e-sign the application, and it kind of gives you the information that you should be doing for you to e-sign. For instance, you should have identified the person. You should be assured that the person is who they say they are, things like that. And so when you've already entered the person's social security number and they're 18 or older, this e-signature will be defaulted to yes, that yes, you'd like to e-sign, because really that's the fastest option and that's the preferred option. If you don't want to e-sign for some reason, you can always select no here, but you know, if you're able to, if you're capable of it, we would prefer it to be yes here. And again, if this is not available, like if it's grayed out, it's probably because the Social Security number wasn't entered. So if that's the case and you want to e-sign, just go back to that individual details section and enter the Social Security number. So here you're e-signing, you click next. And here is our rights and responsibilities section. This goes over, you know, it's basically the individual's affidavit, what they're agreeing to by, you know, submitting this application. It gives any reporting requirements, penalties, things like that. So this should be read to them ahead of time. They should be aware of this information before they actually submit their application. So here you're going to click next, and there's a long-term living services section specific rights and responsibilities below here. So after reading that, you'll click next. And this is just the community partners certifying, you know, that they have checked the person's identity and the person agreed to the rights and responsibilities and they're in lawful, you know, citizenship status. Click next. And from this page, this is you're finally at the submission page. I know we've asked a lot of questions, but so here you're just kind of you're making sure that you know, you want to view this document in English, and it's automatically defaulted to you're going to view and print the e-form for your records. So that's the preferable option. Like I said, it's probably best just to print it at the end because you have everything together. So here you'll click submit. And it automatically brings up the PDF. This is usually a smaller window, but I guess it's doing the larger one. So here you can see, like I said, it brings up the PDF that you can print, save, you know, anything you want to do with the PDF. And it's just, it gives you all the questions that you answered. It shows your e-signature here, the date and time you submitted. Basically, you know, it just gives you everything that you answered in a nice PDF format. And again, also it has rights and responsibilities. If you want to give the applicant a printout, that's always great. And it also provides any information that Compass feels that you should be submitting as verification as part of your application. This is not like a set verification list. It's kind of a guide, and if the county assistance office needs more information, regardless of whether they need more information, they should be sending out a verification list as well. So, but this is just kind of a guide to get you started on what you might need to finish processing your application. And it gives the county assistance office routing information, where it went to, contact information. Okay, so that's the PDF. And this is the actual confirmation page. So just make sure, you know, you haven't submitted the application fully until you've reached this confirmation page. That's really important. So here we have lots of things to do. We have the view summary like we just did. That was the PDF. The view required items gives you a shortened verification list. It's basically just like the last page of that summary with the verification items. And then, like what Derek went over, you can attach a file if you click this it'll take you to our attach a file page. And so here, this is what people prefer, I think, over scanning. If you already have documents saved to your computer, you know, you just you click add the document and the type, for instance, RSDI, then you click add, and you would just click a document from your computer here. Pretty simple. We've heard a lot of good feedback about the attach a file feature. On this page also is just some information, just some other Commonwealth information, Job Gateway, not as applicable to this group, but we also have voter registration information, and you can always go back to your community partner homepage or go back to the actual Compass homepage, log out. Those features are available too. So here we'll just go back to the home. And so now what you should see is, for one, I didn't have any applications submitted this month. Now you should be able to see that you submitted Anita's application. There it is. That's under what you recently submitted, and it will also display under what your organization recently submitted, right there. And if you highlight Anita's application, you can always, you know, you can view the status here, the summary, the signature page, and you can always submit those documents electronically after. Like, you don't have to do it from the confirmation page. You can always log back into your dashboard and submit those necessary verification documents. And I'll just show you the status page once more. And so here you see Anita submitted the application for long-term living services. The status right now says not available because it means the application hasn't been imported by our system. It doesn't mean it hasn't been received. It just means that the workers there haven't, you know, completely finished the import process. But it doesn't mean it hasn't been received. So once it's been imported, it'll change to in process. And here, like again, from this page, you can also attach a file or scan. You can view verification. And again, you can go back to home. Everything's stored here for you. And that pretty much wraps it up. So that's the application process, I guess, in a nutshell. So we can open up to questions now.
Thank you, Nikki and Derek. That was great information, and I do have quite a few questions coming in. So I'll start from the top. The first one that we have is how long to receive response to application to become community partner?
Sorry, it should take, usually, that'll come right to me. Usually it'll take a day or two. I just have to validate the information, just to make sure it is an organization that will need access to submit the applications. But as long as I have everything, like I said, it will take a day or two. If not, I'll end up reaching out to the person who submitted it, because we do ask for their, or require their email address. So I do send an email out and just to verify the information. Again, just to make sure it's valid before we add that community partner organization.
Okay. Next question is there a best practice for nursing facilities to follow with submitting 5 years of financial documents? Should the SNF mail or scan?
We have a policy clarification. I do just want to stress that we do not always need 5 years of bank statements, first of all. Secondly, if you would, then you can do whatever's easier for you, which may be uploading the documents, just like Nikki showed.
And if the file is too big, they can be broken. Like, you can just scan again. You can keep doing it. So
you could save them as separate files and upload them, so they're smaller.
Okay. The next question is, when logging in, I'm always asked to put a code in that is sent from my email. How do I get rid of that?
Well, that is actually part of our security, just to make sure that the user that's logging in is who they say they are. So the email address that is connected to their account, we send that code to their email address, and then when they get that code, they have to log into their email address, retrieve it, and then input that, and then that's when they'll be taken to their dashboard. So you can't necessarily get rid of it. I believe right now it's every 12 hours that we do. If you don't log in for 12 hours, we will resend that, but it's usually for community partners right around daily that you'll see that once a day, unless you're logging in for,
Right. It's every 12 hours, but if you have your browser settings kind of set up differently, you might get it every time you log in. So if you're having that problem, I would check your browser settings and check with your IT probably.
Okay, sounds like good. If you have a DA and for one reason or another they are no longer with the company, how do you get a new business partner registered? If you currently have a DA, I know it gets rejected.
To register as a delegated administrator, I went over in the slide, I don't recall which one it was, one of the slides, we have a link that they could click on for that, a guide to walk the community partner through to apply for access. Now, this question might be, the person might have been rejected because, like I said earlier, even with organizations registering, if somebody requests delegated administrator access, I will, if it's not valid enough for me to accept it, I will reach out, and a lot of times, every time I send an email, but a lot of times I don't get information back from that user, so that's why I will go ahead then and reject that. But yeah, for somebody to register as a delegated administrator, like I said, there's that link on, again, I don't remember which slide, but right under where it says start the online registration for the community partners, they could click on that, and then, like I said, after the presentation, you now have my email address, so if you're having issues, you could email me, and then I'll help you walk through that if you need to.
And to add to that, if the DA left the organization and let's say new people are registering as users, that DA gets the email for approval, and so if they left, they're not getting that email, and that might be why. So it's required to have one active DA registered with the organization so that issue doesn't happen.
Great, and the slides will be provided after the webinar today. They are already up on the PHCA website, and I will be sending those out at, with the certificates and the recording link and things like that at the end of the day. So I know that Derek and Nikki's contact information is in the slides. If anybody has any questions that you think of afterwards, feel free to contact them. Let's move on to the next question. So if someone is receiving services in the community, I would skip that one section.
You mean, I think the question is if they're receiving medical assistance already, then you just wouldn't need to submit the application for the nursing facility because they can obtain information just by reaching out to the County Assistance Office.
Right, the CAO would get the MA 51 and 103, and then we know that we would need to send out a pending verification list. That would include specific questions from the paper application that were not asked, depending on what category of medical assistance the current person is receiving.
Okay. All good. These are great questions. If our attendees have any questions, keep them coming. In the question pane on the right-hand side, we have several more. I'll get to the next one. What about a resources assessment? Will this still be a paper process?
Yes. The 1572 that's given out from nursing homes in the admission notice packet should be stressed, that this needs to be completed. We need a completed and signed PA 1572. If you have it done already when you're applying on Compass, you can certainly attach that. That would be wonderful.
Great. These are all great questions that we're getting. The next question is, how long does it take for the application to be imported once submitted?
It's usually done the same day. If it's submitted like Friday night, though, give it till the next business day.
That sounds pretty quick to me. Great. Okay, a couple more questions. They're continuing to roll in, so this is great. I have, it looks like 3 more currently. Again, if any of our attendees have questions, please type them up in the pane on the right. Next question, is the view verification something new? I didn't know you could view the verifications once they were uploaded to the system.
For the view verification, it's not viewing after they've been uploaded. It's kind of like Compass recognizes, based on the answers that you gave, that you might need certain verification for the worker to successfully process the application. And like I said before, it's not totally accurate, and it doesn't really serve as the verification pending list, but it's just kind of a guide to get the applicant started on what they might need to submit as verification. So they should really still wait on the verification pending list that's sent to make sure they're submitting everything.
Okay. Next question, how often do you need to log in so that you don't have to reset your password? Even if you don't log in for a while, you're still required to reset your password every 120 days. Okay. The next question also looks like it applies to logging in. I cannot log in, and I have been locked out. Exceeded attempts. Is there a phone number I can call to help me with the login?
Yep, in the online registration guide link that is right under that Start Registration button that Derek provided, that has, there's actually the help desk number, which will reset your password for you, but we also have our community partner mailbox email address, which Derek checks every day.
Yep.
And so he can also reset your password for you.
Excellent. We have that same stuff going on here at the association, so that happens. There's always somebody to take care of it for us. The last question I have, again, if anybody has questions, keep them coming. We're gonna take as many as we can here. We still have plenty of time left. We're scheduled till 3:30. If we don't get more questions, we'll just give you some more time back in your day. I do have 2 more questions that have come in. The next question is, so do we have to still send over the MA 51 optioning and MA 103? Are these still going to be paper?
Yes. If you get them ahead of time, it would be great to upload them with the application. If not, we'll see that you're applying for a long-term care facility, and we'll put on the pending verification list that we need those forms.
Great. The next question I have is, I have registered and I still have not been able to access Compass, so I sent another request.
Well, okay, so we...
That's kind of a tough one because I'm not sure if the person actually, we approved the request or the delegated administrator approved them to be a user. Because there are times I get 3 or 4 requests from the same person. It's just, if I haven't gotten to it yet, sometimes I'll submit it within 15 minutes apart or however many. So they think, when they submit it, they might be approved, but
we have access to a community partner like directory where if you feel that you already registered, we can look up your profile, your user ID, and make sure you are registered successfully and get back to you on that. So whoever asked that, please send us your information to the mailbox or one of our email addresses.
Yeah, send me your name and first last name, and I could do the research into that, or the B-user ID.
Great. Sounds very user-friendly. The next question I have is, once the CAO sends the pending verification list, do we upload the requested documents or mail into the CAO?
Well, the preference, we're definitely steering everyone towards electronic, and that is the faster way, and it's actually the more safe-proof way, I guess you could say, because those documents are automatically sent to our workers, like this imaging section where they can view that information, and there's no really chance of lost paperwork. So we would prefer upload.
Okay. That was our, I was going to say that's our last question, but I had another one pop in. Will we be notified of the caseworker who is working on the application?
You would, based on the pending verification list. The worker would probably list their name and contact information. But the Compass won't display that information. Compass will just have the CAO's general contact number and email address. You can also always contact the customer service center too.
All right, we'll give it another minute or so. That was our last question. If anyone has questions, please type them in and we'll get them answered. It's been a lot of great information here, a lot to know, and I think it's been really helpful because it's been really good information. And know that you have Derek and Nikki as a resource. You can reach out to them. Again, the contact information is in the slides that you'll receive later today. All right, I don't see any more questions. Again, we'll give it just a little bit longer. If anybody has any questions, please go ahead and type those in. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. I want to thank Nikki, Derek, and Marcia for your time today and for the great information that you shared. We really appreciate it. Again, a survey is going to be emailed before the end of the day, and a recording of today's presentation will be made available on the PHCA website. Please take a moment to complete the survey, and thank you everyone for attending. We really appreciate your participation in these webinars. Look for other webinars coming up in October through the end of the year. We have a couple coming up, and there will be new ones added. The next one, I believe, is Emergency Preparedness and Life Safety Code, which will be on October 12th. So look for that information on our website and in the daily news blogs and things like that. We'll get, we'd love to have you participate in those if your schedule permits. Thank you, everyone.